on into the 12th edition of Rawhide's Mob, presented by Hatch State Line Toyota and Hatch Ford of Silver City. I'm your host, Jake Wetzel. Some exciting news, since unfortunately we had the departure of Jack Rasmussen, as he's off to better things with his cleat company and punting in a Division I bowl game. With that, replacing him will be Kaela Chavez as my host. She works in the same building as me, for those of you that know her, and might recognize her from the Mustang basketball team last year. Today, Kaela and I will have head football coach Philip
Vigil and men's graduate assistant Jeremy Zepeda.
But first, let's give a Mustang recap of this weekend's events. Ola Peterson is your Hatch State Line Toyota Male Athlete of the Week, and Sydney Wright is your Hatch Ford Silver City Female Athlete of the Week. Both the basketball teams were in action over the weekend.
The men's and women's team continued their
non-conference schedules. The men, over Thanksgiving break, defeated Western Oregon in Phoenix, Arizona, 64-58, while the women on Monday, which was yesterday, the 28th, would defend Drags Court with a 72-55 win over Northern New Mexico College. Kaela and I are joined here today by Coach Vigil. Coach Vigil, you had a great season so far this year, definitely better than the year before. You got actual time to improve and just learn from your mistakes from the year before, I guess. I'd say. So what does it mean finally bringing that trophy back from Eastern New Mexico after so many years?
I'm proud of this staff. I'm proud of these guys. This was really our first year when we had a full year of recruiting. We had a full year with spring ball and our first year. We got hired in the summer, and so we were trying to put together a staff and get everything situated before we got into camp, and didn't have a ton of time to recruit. And I'm proud of the progress we've made. It was a great. It's not where we want to be. I'm just going to be honest with you. 6-5. Yes, that's something that hasn't been done here in almost 30 years, but that's not our expectation level. That's not our standard. We're headed in the right direction, but we still have a lot of work left to do, and we've got everybody on the road right now recruiting. I'm about to head out on the road myself as soon as we get done with this podcast and go look for some more future Mustangs. But proud of these guys and their hard work and their belief, and we took some big strides this year, and obviously whenever you win rivalry games, that's a big deal. And so being able to beat Eastern at Eastern was a great moment for us this year, and it's good to have the trophy here for the first time in 29 years. So proud of these guys.
So with the season now being over, what are some things that you're hoping to improve from, say, this season going into the offseason now?
Yeah, I think again we've got another year under our belt as far as understanding what we need to do offensively, defensively. We're going to miss some seniors. That's going to be tough to replace a couple of those guys. They were impact players for us on offense and defense, and so that's our goal right now, is to go out and find some student athletes that want to come here and help us build something really special. And so the main thing for us is we just need to continue to get better. We need to continue to get better every single day. So in Division II football, we're going to have about a month off here from no Kaela and things like that, and it's going to be on these guys to make sure that they're lifting and they're doing what they need to do in the off season, so that way when we come back for the spring semester, we're not starting over. We're continuing to build, and so there's a lot of momentum. There's a lot of really good things that are happening right here, right now, and we just got to keep working. Can't be satisfied.
So you had Jack, your punter. He's now gone. He's used to be a podcast host, and now we have Kaela, who's going to fill in for him from now on. So what does it mean seeing that Jack is going to the FCS Bowl as one of a handful of Division II players? Because he was your punter, and if the offense ever stalled, he just easily would flip the field and almost pin the other team inside the 20 every time.
Yeah, I'm proud of Jack. He's obviously a really good punter. But the biggest thing that I'm gonna miss is he's just a great human being. You know, he's a great person. He always lightens up the room, and I really hope that he has an opportunity to showcase his abilities at the next level, and I think that he's talented enough to be able to do that. It definitely gives you a lot of comfort as a coach knowing that if we don't convert, we can flip the field, just like you said. And he did a great job for us this year. I wish he had 3 more years left to be here with us, and but I know he's going to be successful, whatever he does, whether it's, getting an opportunity to kick in the NFL or the guy's like an entrepreneurial like genius. He's got like 12 patents and all this other stuff. He's trying to nickel and dime me to invest in his
business.
Yeah. he's awesome, man. I really we're really gonna miss Jack, and I'm happy for him and happy for this program again. I mean, we had I think 17 all conference honors this year, and I didn't go back and look in the record book, but I can almost guarantee that's the most it's ever been since we've been in the Lone Star, and so again, it's just a testament to these guys and their work ethic and these coaches and going and finding these guys and bringing them to beautiful Silver City to help us get this thing flipped.
You got anything, Kaela?
So I'm gonna ask you some hard questions here.
All right,
so
let's
be
hear
prepared.
it.
So first question: if you could coach any other sport, what sport would you choose?
Any other sport?
Any other sport in any not even at this university. Any other sport?
Oh man. Golf.
Golf.
No, I think that'd be fun to coach golf because just you get to golf all the time. No, I think probably men's basketball.
Yeah.
I like the fluidity of it. I think I always envy Coach Gibson a little bit because he's got how many guys you got? Like 16 at the most. Yeah, 16. I've got 116. And so I think having smaller teams like that, you can really invest in guys a little bit more, and you get to develop real personal relationships where a lot of times my guys, if they're coming into my office, it's because they're in trouble or something like that, and we that's not always the case, obviously, but you can get a little bit more hands on when you got 16 guys, and I love the fluidity of the game. And so it's different, obviously, than football where you're calling set plays every single time, and there's a break. The fluidity of it is a beautiful thing. And I always tell my guys, don't like to hear this, but I think basketball players are probably the best athletes in the world. You look at those guys in the NBA, and if they had put that much practice and effort into any other sport, they'd probably be a professional in whatever sport they chose to go into. So I would probably say men's basketball.
Yeah.
Long answer.
Yeah. Basketball is a great sport.
It is. Did you know anything about basketball?
I don't.
Yeah.
Didn't think so.
This is kind of a Jack question that he's asked.
Oh no.
Since, you talked about basketball a little bit. He asked, well, first we'll say this. He did a shooting competition last week or 2 weeks ago against Matt Enriquez.
Okay.
And they did the best 2 out of 3.
Mr. Big Shot?
Yeah, Jack won.
No, oh my god.
Jack beat him back to back. Kayla and I were both witnesses.
Yeah.
He kind of,
Matt choked.
Yeah, Matt choked on both of them.
I mean, let's be fair to Matt though. I mean, he
Yeah, he is old, but
yeah, it's been a while. You know
So is
what I
Jack.
mean?
but it's not like Jack's young either.
Jack's 27, and he just got. I mean, he's in the peak physical fitness of his life right now. I kind of envision. I don't know if you guys ever seen The Replacements. You guys ever seen that movie?
I've seen that.
With the I don't know, Australian kicker smoking cigarettes before he lines the ball. That's why I picture Jack as like just he's just gonna go out there and he's a gamer, man. I'm really disappointed in Matt though. I mean, Mr. Big Shot. That's what I call him every time I see him.
He was talking like. I remember Jack challenged him way back in September, and he said, once your season's over, I'll do it. And there's only 1 week left to do it. And he finally got Matt on the court.
What were they doing? Like,
It just
set shots or
set shots at the 3-point line, 3 each.
And Matt made what, 1?
No,
Yeah.
Matt made a decent amount, but he was probably going 1 or 2 for 3 every time, and Jack was almost going 3 for 3 every time. Other than at the top of the key, Jack would go 0 for 3. That was the only place Jack couldn't hit.
At the top?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
the easiest spot.
No, I think
Because you have to line up, like it has to be perfect.
yeah.
Because you don't have any room to miss one way or the other.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the hardest spot. It seems like the easiest, but it's really the hardest.
yeah, I would think it's the easiest.
I think the corner's the easiest because it's slightly closer.
It is
for the most
closer,
part.
but then you don't have the backboard.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it throws people off, like being able to
Yeah.
see over the rim.
For me, the corner's the easiest. But yeah,
Apparently,
Wow. Good job, Zach. Jack.
Matt used to be
Zach.
called
Jack.
Matty Ice back in the day.
yeah, everywhere but the free throw line.
Yeah, Matty Ice.
He couldn't make free throws.
No, ask him about it. He said that's the only place he ever struggled was the free throw line.
That's crazy.
He said he was probably about a 30% free throw shooter.
30.
Like he was that bad.
Holy, he better been. I'm sure he must have been really good to be able to play as much as he did and only beat 30% on the free throw line.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that.
Wow.
But here's Jack's question.
Okay.
So if you had to, it's picking your all-time NBA starting five,
Okay.
except you can't use LeBron,
I wouldn't, anyways.
Jordan,
Okay, that makes it tough.
Kobe,
Golly.
Larry Bird,
Okay.
or Magic.
Okay. Shaq is going to be my center. Karl Malone has got to be in there. He's a stud. Kevin Durant is probably the best scorer in the history of the NBA. He's kind of a selfish player. We're talking strictly skill, though, right?
Yeah, you can go strictly skill. It doesn't have to be a
okay.
team player.
All right, so I got to go point guard. My favorite point guard of all time is Allen Iverson. So I loved him when he was at Georgetown, and then when I'm from Denver, so big Denver sports fan. When he got to the Nuggets, I was like, my dad bought me an authentic Iverson jersey. I mean, I loved it. So I'm gonna go Allen Iverson at point guard. Shooting guard. I mean, Steph Curry, right? I mean, like
You can put
he
him
could
there.
play. He could play point or shoot.
You
know,
can do the
shooting
same
guard.
with Iverson. They could both kind of just interchange almost.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of really good basketball players that I know we took a lot of the GOATs out, but but then you got like classics like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We didn't mention him. I mean, he could be, oh man, there's. All right, we'll go Allen Iverson. We'll go Steph Curry. I need a power forward. I'll say KD is gonna be my power forward. Or excuse me, my forward. Karl Malone be my power forward, and then I'm gonna go Shaq on the block.
Yeah, I think the most popular pick out of everybody was Shaq.
I'm
when we did
surprised
it.
you guys didn't put Shaq in that 5.
I just went with what Jack said. He said arguably the most 5 skilled players of all time. That's what he
Yeah.
said you couldn't use. So
Yeah. I agree. I mean, golly, you got Dwayne Wade when his prime. He was a freaking stud. There's so many good players out there, too.
well, you got Tim Duncan,
Oh, yeah. Tim Duncan.
Dr. J.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, yeah, Pistons Isaiah Thomas. You
Okay.
put him at point.
Yeah, you could.
There's Oscar
What
Robertson.
about Magic?
You said you couldn't use him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, he was the last
Gotcha.
one we said.
Gotcha.
Or I think he would have been the unanimous point guard choice.
Yeah.
So who do you think is the greatest basketball player of all time?
MJ.
Yeah, you can ask Matt about it. He said it was LeBron.
Oh, man. That just – here's my issue with LeBron James. From a physical, skilled standpoint, he is probably the most gifted ever to step on the court. My biggest issue with LeBron James is that guy, especially in his prime, could physically take over every game, any game that he wanted to,
Oh yeah, easily.
and just wouldn't.
I think
You know, that to me is like he didn't have the killer instinct. Like he didn't have the killer instinct that MJ had, or he didn't have the Mamba mentality that Kobe had. And so that's like, man, like I love Kobe. Like I love Kobe. And just his attitude, his work ethic, like he's the hardest worker. I don't know if you guys have seen the Redeem Team or anything like that.
yeah,
but
I actually just watched that. Like,
oh my gosh, that gets me going, man. Like just listening to him talk about, or those other guys talk about his competitiveness and his work ethic. And that guy worked for everything, you know? And yeah, obviously he was ultra talented. But that guy he had it, you know? And that's my biggest issue with LeBron is like, man, physically he could be, and he still is. I mean, let's be real. I mean, the guy's unbelievable, you know, and deserves to be in that conversation. For me, I want to see like, it doesn't matter what we do, we can't stop this guy. I just don't see that a lot, you know. And even when he was in his prime, it was like,
I get what you're saying. I think when it comes down to it, I think there's like a difference between the greatest NBA player and then the greatest basketball player. I think if you
okay.
kind of
That's a
look
good
in the, I think if you look in the NBA, the greatest NBA player of all time is Jordan. But as you said, as gifts of talent and just build everything, it's LeBron.
he's a freak.
Yeah, I think that's why
6'8", like 260.
he's
and
arguably
chiseled
the
and
greatest basketball player of all time. But if you're talking strictly
show.
just if you look at NBA stuff, Jordan was better than him in the NBA.
yeah.
Even though LeBron's going to be the scoring leader.
And I think it's
all
you
that
know,
stuff.
You know, I grew up watching Jordan, you know, and so it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I've got, you know, you listen to my dad would always talk about, you know, Magic and Bird and all these guys that he grew up watching, and so you have that a little bit, you know. I think our younger generation, they never got to see MJ play.
No,
You know, they barely got
wish.
to see Kobe play, you know, and so they're, you know, they don't have an appreciation for it the way that I think we did. And I think the NBA is soft now. Like you watch, I don't know, 15 years ago even, they were physical. 20, 30 years ago, those guys were brutal, man. That's why I like watching NBA playoffs.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like thrown back to it.
It is.
They let them
It's
play
physical, man.
almost for the almost every
Yeah.
game. They let them play.
Yeah, it's physical. And NBA regular season, I'm whatever. But playoffs, I like the NBA playoffs because I like watching. And no offense, coach, but I'd rather watch an NBA game than a college game. I don't know why.
I think it depends on the level of college. There's some top
Yeah,
college
because like if you're
games.
watching like a Duke North Carolina game,
That's
I think that's arguably hard to beat.
It is. It is. It's just I just have such an appreciation for the skill level of those guys in the NBA.
Mhm.
They are so skilled, you know, and it's just a different game. It's a different game, you know.
Yeah, I know. I remember I grew up a Russell Westbrook fan, so he's always been my guy since I grew up being an Oklahoma City fan.
Gotcha. Man,
So-
they had a chance back in the day. They had Harden, Westbrook, KD. I mean, they had some Perk. I mean, they had some dudes.
Yeah, they had some dudes. It's one of the greatest mysteries, I feel like. It's just, I'm waiting for them to make a documentary on it on ESPN,
Yeah,
like a 30 for 30
they
about
need to.
what happened and why they couldn't keep them all, why we decided to pay Ibaka over Harden.
Here's the real question: if Coach Gibson and Coach Pace play 1-on-1, who's winning?
Oh,
It's
Coach
got to be
Pace.
Case, right? And
Come
not even
on.
close, right?
Come on.
I mean, I'm sure Zane can shoot, but I mean,
She's played against Pace, so
He used
she,
to play in our practices, like 1-on-1 and like swatting the balls, like layup, just boom, had no mercy for any of us.
well, I don't blame him there. I mean, that's
Yeah, he
I've-
gets real
I've-
competitive.
I feel like it's got to be Pace too, even though he's older than Zane, right?
He is, but I think if we're gonna look like size wise,
yeah. You better be able to shoot, Zane. You
well,
better be able to create some space, dog, because
Yeah.
you ain't going to the rack.
well, even that he's so long, like you have to have some room to get a shot off.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we're going with Coach Pace.
Yeah.
Matt wasn't even in the conversation.
Yeah, no, not Maddie.
No, he'll just sit there and make excuses of how old and fat he is.
Wow.
We should do a coach's like basketball game.
I feel
agree.
like that Tara would not like that. You know, we'd have every coach with an ACL or ankle or something. Just wouldn't be good. I had to give up on basketball. I same thing. I got too competitive, so I go out there with every intention to just play some defense and shoot some threes, and then before I know it, I'm driving to the rack and my sore, you know, my ankles and knees. I'm just like, all right, this isn't.
We'd end up getting a matchup of Jeremy and Zane, and you'd see Jeremy just junking on Zane.
Can you dunk? Not right now. That's funny.
Anything else? So I saw on Instagram last night that you went hunting with
Yeah.
your son.
Yeah,
He got a buck, right?
he did.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that experience?
Yeah. So it's been a good week or so at the Vigil household. We so 2 weeks or not a week, a week ago we went to Gallup, New Mexico. Peyton had a wrestling tournament, and so we drove through. We live in a beautiful area, and I don't know how much you guys are able to get out and actually see this place, but it is a beautiful, beautiful area. And so we were driving to Gallup, and we drive through Alpine, Arizona, and which is just 2 hours away from here. And we on the way out, we saw probably 100 herd of elk, and it was just magnificent. It was beautiful. Go out to the wrestling tournament. Peyton pins everybody he faces. Got first place. So proud of him. On the way back, going back through Alpine, we probably saw 500 herd of elk. I mean, it was unbelievable how beautiful, and we're at 8,000 feet of elevation. I mean, it's crazy. And so this last week was Peyton's hunt, and so we've got the Burrows area, which is Unit 23. If you got any hunters out there, and we went out Tuesday or Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we were out there at 5:30 in the morning. It's freezing, and we were out there for all day. I mean, we were out there from 5:30 till 5:30, really. And about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'd been hiking. We'd hiked about 7 miles or so, and saw some bucks, and went and tried to get after them and lost them. And it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and sunset's about 5:15, and we see a buck and about 4 doe, and so we stalk them, and we get down to where they're at, and we get a shot. And Peyton is just, they call it buck fever. Do you guys know what buck fever is? Anybody?
Yeah, I know what it is.
What is it?
I've just experienced it. I don't know it off the top of my head. I've experienced it when I got my first one.
Okay,
so.
yeah. So buck fever is just, it's a nervousness, right? And so he's like, he has the scope on him, and can you stop the crosshairs on the buck? And no, he can't do it. He's so nervous. And boom, he fires it, and it's about 10 feet in front of the buck, and the buck doesn't move. He doesn't get startled, and so boom, boom, reload it, and takes another shot right over his head. And I was like, oh man. And so the buck gets into some brush, and the only thing you can see is his head. And you don't want to get a headshot. I mean, if you have a headshot, you take it, but usually you try to get him in the lungs or the heart, or something like that. And the only thing we could see was his head, and he shoots, and the bullet goes literally between his antlers. And he was so upset. I mean, he was crushed, and he was crying, and he's like, oh, I blew it, and so Thanksgiving comes. We didn't go out on Thanksgiving. We went out on Friday, and we go back out, and we hike up this mountain at about 5:30, and we start glassing as soon as the sun comes up, and we see the same buck. We called him Loco Moco, this buck, because we fired at him 3 times before he actually ran off. He was crazy. We found the same buck, and so we stalked him, and we found him, and he was running up a mountain and stopped, and Peyton gets set up, and one shot just drops him. And the look on his face, I'll never forget it. I mean, he's like, I got him, and he's almost crying. He's so excited, and just the look of pure joy. Like, this was our first experience ever hunting. I never grew up hunting, even though I grew up in Colorado. We never did it, and so this was our first experience doing it, and doing it together, and being able to be there and see him do that and harvest a bull, or excuse me, not a bull, but a buck. It was really special, and he was fired up. I was fired up. One of our local friends here in Silver was helping us and kind of guiding us, and so we went over there and gutted it and drug it back about 2 miles. But that was not fun. That wasn't the fun part.
That's the worst part, is when you have to bring him back, and it's like, oh, I don't know what I got myself into.
That's exactly right. So I got my workout in that day, but man, what a great experience. The next morning we woke up, and I was like, Peyton, I'm so mad that you got a buck yesterday. And he's like, why? And I was like, because I want to be out there again today hunting for another one. We just had a great time, and I was proud of him. He overcame his fears a little bit there, and dropped it in on one shot. And I mean, he didn't move. So it was awesome. I was proud of him.
So did you gut it for him, or did he know how to do it?
No, he watched. Yeah, he watched. He was adamant that he was going to take a bite of the heart. He's like, I'm going to take a bite of that heart. He's like, Dad, get your phone ready. I'm going to take a bite of this heart.
Did he actually?
No. I wasn't going to let him. He would have, if I let him, he would have. But I'm telling you, man, that heart when we gutted it, it was exploded. He blasted. I mean, it was a perfect shot, and so, there wasn't anything really to.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know if you've ever seen like Dances with Wolves or where they make a kill of the bite of the buffalo and they pull out the heart and they take a bite of the heart. And,
Never seen it, but
it's pretty intense. That's what Peyton wanted to do, and he wanted it to be on Instagram, and I said no. So
yeah, I remember about 2 years ago I went hunting with one of my buddies and he got a buck and we're sitting here like, okay, we have no clue how to gut this. So we're sitting there, we're sitting here on the top of a mountain in Pennsylvania on YouTube, just watching how to gut a deer.
did you get it done?
Yeah, we got it done. It probably took us about 2.5 hours to do it because we had no clue what to do, and we were definitely struggling doing it. But he shot it took him 2 shots to take him down. The first one, he blew the deer's leg off,
Oh,
and the deer just ran, and then not far. It was just kind of hungered up against a tree, and then next one right through the lungs.
gotcha.
So, but we were in a stand and all that, and
Gotcha.
I was probably about our 20th deer we'd seen that day. And we're like, we can actually shoot this one. This one has enough spikes on it.
Yeah. It's all the rules and regulations and all that. It's good. I mean, it's good because it helps preserve and allow for,
But yeah,
our kids' to go hunting and do those types of things. So, but the gutting part was definitely unique. There's no doubt.
yeah. I remember because he saved the heart because we didn't explode it, and he ended up putting it in a crock pot.
Yeah, you can cut it up
It
and
was
fry it up.
super good.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. We took the buck to a processor, so we're gonna get some good meat. So it'll be good.
All right. So the questions that Kaela and I have for you, unless you have anything else, Kaela?
I wanted to ask, do you think you'll take your girls hunting as they
Oh,
get
yeah.
older? Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they want to,
Mm-hmm.
I told my wife, I was like, man, I think all of them would love it. I don't know. You're out. We live in such a beautiful area, and you're out in God's creation, and it's just something to it. It allowed us to reset a little bit, and you need those things to be able to unwind, and it was great. If the girls want to go, I'll take them. The thing that's crazy to me is, people that what I would like to do is get into bow hunting. That to me seems like it would be an exhilarating.
I've heard
thing.
it's been. I've never done it, but my dad's into it. He's into all sorts of hunting. He goes every weekend he can during the fall. Every weekend that my mom lets him go to our hunting camp and host it out in the stand for 4 days before he comes back. And now he's
Really?
retired, so he could technically stay there the whole time if he really wanted to.
See, to me, I don't know. We have buddies that own land in Texas, and they have a stand, and they have feeders out there, and it's like I don't know how sporting that is. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go out to the wild. I want to spot an elk, and I want to stalk it and call it towards me and get a shot. Like, that to me is hunting. Standing away from somebody 1,000 yards away, or having a feeder out there and just calling it's like people. We have mountain lions out here. We have bear out here.
Yeah.
All those things. You know how they hunt mountain lion? Does anybody know how they hunt mountain lion?
I don't know how they hunt them, but
They hunt them with dogs. Okay, so you get a bunch of dogs together, and you get mountain lions and you tree them, and then they go up to the tree and they shoot them. I'm like, that's not hunting to me. You know what I mean? That's not sporting. Like, I want to stalk. I want to. We got within 160 yards of that buck last week, and so, we had to be quiet. We had to. I don't know. You know what I'm saying by that? And so I think that part to me is like I don't know.
yeah,
I don't want to go fishing with dynamite, right?
Yeah, I get that. No, we don't have a feeder for deer. We have a salt lick, but we put it there. We don't use it to attract them to us. We have it out there so they can lick off it, and then we can look out the back porch and we're like, oh, there's some deer out there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see them tomorrow when we're in the stands.
Yeah.
Or just stuff like that. We don't try to feed them to us. We hope they come to us.
I could see why you would. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have any. I just think
No, but I get your reasoning. But in Pennsylvania, it's the most likely state to hit a deer with your car.
really.
Yeah, you have a 1 in I think it's 1 in 60 chance.
I see deer every single day when I go home. It's like we for 2 or 3 days we were going out and hunting for bucks, and we'd see some, but we wouldn't ever be able to get a shot. I'm like, golly, I've got one right here in my front yard. It's like a
Yep.
6x6, and I can't touch it, And they're smart. They know. They know when it's hunting season. They know,
And they know. Just, let me just go on this person's property because nobody can.
It's exactly
nobody can hit me
right.
here.
That's exactly right. So, no, it was a great experience. I was very, very grateful to be able to do that with Peyton, and we had a lot of fun. So now it's time to turn our attention to football and getting on the road and going and finding future Mustangs that can help continue to carry the legacy that these seniors left. And I'm excited for the future of Mustang football. I'm excited for the future of this university, and we've got great leadership here. And I think that's the biggest thing. I was watching Matt Rule, who just got named the head coach at Nebraska yesterday. He was talking about alignment, and he was talking about how the alignment was right at Nebraska for him between the AD and the president. And I couldn't feel this. I couldn't feel more of the same way here, and he talked about, I thought it was a pretty awesome analogy, but he was talking about a seed being fertile, or a seed that's ready to plant. But if you don't have the fertile soil, then it doesn't matter how much potential that seed has, right? And so when he was talking about vertical alignment, he's like, when you have vertical alignment like that, everything's gonna grow, and so I'm just excited about our future here. I'm excited about Dr. Shepard. I'm excited about Scott Noble, and I know we give Matt a hard time, but he's an unbelievable administrator as well, and we've got some great people. I think that that's what makes Silver so special, is the people here, and we've only been here for a short time, but we've made some friendships that will last for forever, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to continue to build on the success we've had, and know that this is only the beginning. So.
No matter what type of vehicle you're looking for, Hatch Toyota State Line, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram of Silver City has the vehicle that will fit you.
Yes. All right. Kaela and I are joined here by graduate assistant men's basketball coach Jeremy Zepeda. Said it right, correct?
You did, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I get a lot of different pronunciations of my last name, but
That's what I figured. When I looked at the pronunciation guide, I'm like, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, no, I get Zepeda, Zapata. I'm like,
You get that from Scott?
no, he just says Jeremy.
No, I meant like when he announced you though.
Oh, yeah. I don't even really pay attention to the
How does Scott?
Say your name. It says Jeremy.
His deep voice.
All right, so Jeremy, why don't you take us through the process of how you got hired here as a graduate assistant?
So the last 2 years I was at a junior college in Arizona, Central Arizona College, and then so I was assistant there. I was essentially like a volunteer assistant, and then I was finishing my undergrad while I was doing that. And then the whole process of how I got here connected with Western was they were recruiting one of our guys last year. So our head assistant there, he was talking with the assistant here last year, and then so they were just chopping it up a little bit, and then I told him midway through the season last year at Central Arizona College that I was wanting to be a GA somewhere. So they were helping me out as much as possible, just trying to get my foot in the door somewhere. And then as they were recruiting our player, our assistant reached out. He's like, if you by chance have the opportunity for a GA next year, this and that, we have our volunteer assistant here this year. He's looking. And then from that point, I emailed Coach Gibson, and it took a minute for him to respond back. I was like, all right, maybe this isn't going to work out. So I wasn't too hopeful at first. And then like a couple weeks later, Coach Gibson finally responded. He said, I'll reach out to you shortly. We'll talk more about this, blah, 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 blah. And then soon, like a few weeks after that, then we spoke more, talked on the phone, Zoom calls, this and that. And then that's when I started seeing more. I was more hopeful. I was like, okay, finally, I'm going to find something, because I was applying everywhere.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, so I was like, all right. And I was getting nothing. I had no one calling me back, no one really responding. And if I did, they were like, oh, sorry, you're not getting the position. I'm like, all right. And then finally, I'm glad it was Coach Gibson. Like, so far, it's been a great experience. Like, I didn't think I would ever be in New Mexico, even though I'm right down the street from it and I'm in Arizona. But, yeah, I didn't know anything about silver. But Coach Gibson, he blessed me with the opportunity here, and it's been great so far. Like, the basketball is great, and then just learning a lot. There's only 3 of us on staff, so I'm getting the full experience. So it was a long process, but it was well worth it.
Are you originally from Arizona?
I am,
Okay.
yeah, born and raised. Never, like, that's where I was for 23 years of my life.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like me. I was in Pennsylvania for basically 23 years, and now I'm in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I never thought I'd be here either,
Nobody ever thinks they'll be in New Mexico.
No,
other than Kaela.
Yeah, I'm from New Mexico, so
Okay.
Makes sense,
Did
but-
you know about silver before?
I did. I did know about silver because my high school we play silver high,
Oh,
so I had an idea.
yeah. I had no clue. I didn't know about silver until May of this year.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about it till August of this year.
At least you guys
Oh,
knew
wow.
about New Mexico. That's a rare one too.
I mean, like I was like you, applying everywhere, just getting nothing.
Oh yeah.
And then Dakota put an easy apply on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, well, it's easy apply, might as well do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a call the next day.
Oh wow.
Was it Dakota?
And I was like, what? Already?
Uh-huh.
I was like, because the whole year before my 1 year off of college, I was a substitute teacher.
Oh wow.
Fun time.
Yeah. What grade?
Primarily high school or middle school. Tried my best to stay away from elementary schools.
Uh-huh.
And then for almost a month and a half, I was a 6th grade English and science teacher.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Very interesting experience.
I bet it was.
A lot of the girls had crushes on me.
Do they just let anyone be a teacher nowadays?
Just in Pennsylvania, all you needed was a college degree.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
You need no certification of anything?
Just
to be
needed
a substitute or
just
to
to
be
be
like
a substitute.
Oh,
Just to be a
okay.
substitute. I just
Okay.
needed like a bachelor's degree. Didn't matter what it was in, because mine is in journalism.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean,
An English teacher, I feel like.
Yeah, I could help them with their writing.
yeah.
But like they come and ask me math questions.
You're
Like,
like,
I'd be like, go ask the math teacher.
yeah.
I'd be like, I get you want to hang out here, but go ask the math teacher. I can't help you with this.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, no, that's cool.
But all right, so coming in now with the season, you guys started off 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
You start conference play this week.
We do.
What's the expectation now that you're in conference play?
So with non-conference play, we had the plan of going 6-0. It worked out. I mean, we faced adversity throughout a non-conference for sure, and a lot of it was on us. Like we're a new group. We're not a young group. We are old we are very old. We're probably older than a lot of NBA teams, like without a doubt. But we came in, we had high expectations for the team. It was a great recruiting class, and we had our struggles. Like we were trying to figure everything out. It's common, and these guys have only been together for 3 months now, 4 months, whatever it may be. So you're still trying to figure out how players work together, this and that, and how to coach people. Like figuring out the little things that go a long way. So it was good. We went 6-0. Like it was off to a great start. And then conference play, we're confident in what our abilities. Like we know what we're capable of. It's just how consistent are we going to be? And that's honestly been like our one struggle so far is consistency. Like we know they're capable of doing it, and they know they're capable of doing it. It's just, are you going to do it? So with conference play, we're going to prep well. We're going to put them in the position they need to be in, and I'm pretty confident in what we're able to do and how we'll be in conference play. We're projected 13th in the league. I don't fall for the projections. Last year my team was projected to be second to last in the league. We ended up finishing 4th. So like projections mean nothing. So I know we can be one of the top teams in the league for sure. And it's just are we going to do it on a nightly basis? Because it's a tough league for sure.
Yeah, that's all Zane and Coach Gibson's talked about is how this is the best D2 conference. And like this was my first experience with the Lone Star.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only familiar with the PSAC, and they had a team go to the finals last year. I know that they're a great conference too, but from what it sounds like, the Lone Star from top to bottom is just insane.
Oh yeah, no, I knew nothing about D2 until I got here, but no, as time goes on and as I see stuff, like it's for sure one of the top conferences in the nation for D2.
Yeah, it's intense. Like watching the men too, you get so many like D1 bounce backs. Like so many people want to play in the Lone Star. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like watching the other men's teams, you're like, why are you playing D2? Like some of them are like massive, like athletic, big. Like they have like everything you'd want in like a player.
Yeah,
That's
I know. I
insane.
saw a bunch of those guys. Like, there's one kid that I played against that was D2 all his career, and now he's a starting point guard for Buffalo in his last year.
Oh wow.
There's another kid that went D1 right away, and he's last year was like the top shooter in the entire D2, and he's still D2, and don't know why.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes it's better to be at the Division II level so you're able to do what you can do. Because if you go to the Division I level, sometimes there's another guy that's at the same position and maybe a little bit better, and you're not going to get as much playing time. So it's like if you're able to put up solid numbers, get good minutes, be on a winning team, I'd take that over being on. Maybe you're at a low major, you're not winning as much, but you get to play a little bit in your D1, but you don't get the better opportunity because at the Division II level, you get to showcase more. So
No,
it's
I
like
agree with that.
the opportunity is there, especially here. Like last year from last year's team, we had Jordan Doss. I wasn't here, but from what I've heard from Coach Gibson, Jordan Doss was the best player, like probably the best player on the team, and he's had opportunities to try out for the G League, for pro teams, this and that. So like it's there. It's just what are you gonna do with your opportunity?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
For sure.
Yeah, I think Kaela.
Who do you think is the best player of all time?
Of all time.
Remember, Matt Enriquez thinks it's LeBron James.
Yeah, no. See, I don't follow that train.
I feel like this is the most controversial question right now, like going through the office.
Oh, it is. But I mean, LeBron, he's a freak. Like there's no doubt about it. Like his longevity is crazy. To be what? He's 38 now.
Yeah, that's stupid. I don't know how he's still this good.
Yeah, his ability's dumb. Like I don't understand
It's like
it.
kind of the same with Durant almost because he's about 34 and he's still getting better for the most part.
Yeah.
Not as much as LeBron, but like
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, Durant, he's just perennial scorer. Like that's just what he is. I mean, all around basketball.
Well, I think like his defense every year has gotten better for him as much as he's gotten older,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. I feel like the older you get, the worse you get at defense because you lose that quickness.
I think his is more so just effort. Because sometimes he's out there and he's just like, eh. Like,
I
I'm
know
going
what
to
you
go
mean.
down and score 40. Like, are you going to outscore me? Who knows? But,
That's what he did last night.
yeah, I was watching the Suns game. Sorry, Phoenix fan,
I wasn't watching any of the games. I just saw the highlights and I was like, so he just went down and just dropped 46 on the Magic and said, outscore me because I know you can't.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Magic. But, I mean, it's a professional
Yeah.
team. But,
I know, it's the Magic. I mean, but like you said, they're professional. They're young and exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
No. But back to the question. So like I didn't grow up watching Jordan. That was at the end of his career when I was born. So
Same.
so like mine was Kobe. So like by far, like I know Jordan's up there for sure. Like I've seen game film of him, highlights, this and that, and then Kobe is definitely up there because I didn't watch Bird. I didn't watch Magic. I didn't watch. I didn't watch all those the older generation. So, like, for me, it would be Kobe because that's who I grew up watching. That's who I saw. And being a Suns fan, we matched up with the Lakers a lot in the playoffs, and he would always knock us out. And it was just frustrating to see, but you just couldn't deny the greatness. Like, it was there. Like, his work ethic, his ability to hit, like, his attention to detail, and then just how skilled he was and his determination to win. Like, he had the full package. I mean, he had his off-court issues, whatever it may be, but basketball, he had it. Like, he was just locked in.
So would you say Kobe is your favorite player of all time?
Oh, favorite of all time? No. I'm a big Kawhi fan. I don't know why, but I'm just a big Kawhi Leonard fan. Like, he's just so nonchalant, and then he just gets to. I mean, recently he's just been injury prone, and it's affecting him a lot. But he's a winner. When he was in San Antonio, he won. Went to the Raptors, won. I mean, with the Clippers, he's struggling, but it's the Clippers. You know, and they're notorious for being like.
He's also been hurt almost every year he's been on the Clippers.
Oh yeah.
Or Paul George has been hurt, so he instead of carrying the load.
Yeah.
Even though they do have one of the deepest teams in the whole league.
They do. I mean,
They have quality starters on their bench.
but they're old. Like they are older.
Yeah, they're an older team
Mhm.
for sure.
So like, and it's taxing like on their bodies.
But
hey,
having that depth, you throw in Amir Coffee one day and be like, go play 30 minutes while we rest guys because you're 26.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had Zubac going for 31 and 29 the
I
other
saw
night.
that. That was crazy.
That was wild. Like, yeah, that was unexpected. But I mean, you got players capable of playing at a high, obviously playing at a high level, but like the ones that you don't think can.
Yeah.
Can. Like, yeah, no, but for sure, Kawhi Leonard's probably like up there, like as my top.
So then, what's your all-time starting five without Kobe, MJ, LeBron, Bird, and Magic?
You know, there's so many lineups you could do. But at the point, I'm gonna do Curry for sure. Like, you know, his scoring ability he's probably the best shooter of all time. Like, there's no doubt about it, and he could run a team, and he's a winner. You know, he's won multiple championships. At the two guards tough. Like, there's a lot of twos out there. But I'll probably go D Wade. D Wade's just like in his prime. Think of it. He won a championship before he had LeBron. Like, that was a young D Wade. He was in the league killing. Like,
Yeah, that's when he had Shaq, right?
mm-hmm. But even so, Shaq was what? Because what year was that? 05, 06?
Yeah, Shaq had been in the league for,
Like 10, 12 years.
yeah,
So it was Shaq. I mean, it was Shaq, but
and an old. I think he had the old Alonzo Mourning too.
mm-hmm. So I mean, he had good players on his team for sure, but he was the star player. But yeah, prime D Wade, insane. I mean, he wasn't like the greatest shooter, but inside scoring and defensively, he's gonna lock up. Like, you're not. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna lock up. At my three, oh gosh, I'm gonna go younger, like younger generation now. I'm gonna go Luka. Man you can't guard him. Like, it's the slowest thing in the world. Like, you would see him playing, you're like, oh, he's 6'7", yeah, or 6'8", whatever he is. Like, he's playing at like 2 miles per hour, but he's dropping 50.
Kind of like Jokic.
Yeah, essentially. But, you know, just
Yeah, better.
a smaller version
Yeah.
and just an elite scorer. Like, I mean, he's a winner too. I mean, granted, he hasn't gone to the finals yet, but he'll get there at some point because he makes his teams better. He's all around good player. 4-man, I don't know. I know I should throw KD in there, but I don't want to throw KD in. Even though I should, I'm not going to. It's either Giannis or Dirk. Like, Giannis is I for the longest I was a Giannis hater. I was like, nah, like, he's not gonna do it. Blah blah blah.
But he's unguardable.
Yeah, you can't stop him. Like,
He takes one step and he's already at the rim.
yeah, and it's like he's making progress as the years go on. Like, he's an okay shooter now. Like, he could hit a three
A game. Like, he can give you like one, maybe 2 threes a game.
Yeah, and he could guard essentially 1 through 5. He's gonna rebound the ball like crazy, and his inside scoring is dumb, and then his defense is just And then Dirk, prime Dirk, you're not stopping him. 7-footer, just
Unguardable fadeaway.
like, what are you doing? Like, that's just insane. So like, his game is fluid. It translates to now. So I don't know who. If I want more scoring, I'll throw Giannis at the 4. You know, then at my 5, I'm gonna do Olajuwon. You know, he'll translate to get today's game now too, because he could guard multiple positions. His offense is good. Like, you know, he got the footwork in the post, and he runs the floor like crazy. And defensively, he's gonna hold it down. Yeah,
You have to ask Coach Drake about his.
Oh.
because he was the first question on that one. Jack was the first person. That was the first person Jack asked that question. Yeah, his
Okay.
point guard was Tony Parker.
TP.
Yeah, that threw us all off.
Wow. I mean,
Like, it's a good pick, but like it threw us off.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would choose TP. If it weren't Curry, I'd either go Kid or.
Not gonna Steve Nash fanboy.
No.
I was just thinking that right now.
Nash is in there too, but J Kidd is crazy. Like J Kidd, he's
And you got Oscar Robertson, you got Isaiah Thomas,
you do.
Bad Boys Isaiah.
But then again, like I didn't watch them. Like Isaiah Thomas, I watched him a little bit, but Oscar Robertson, like, you know, like obviously, like he's considered one of the greats, this and that, blah blah blah. But and I never saw him play, so it's tough for me to say like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah, I agree. That was like when I was doing mine. It was hard to pick older guys that you've never seen play.
because it's just hearsay. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, like I've seen their tape and all that. Like, obviously, Bill Russell was a force.
yeah,
Clearly, with all the championships he won
yeah.
and all the accolades, but he played in an era that was completely different from now. And
Who was your 5?
mine, I put Curry at the 1. I put Wade at the 2
Okay.
because I needed somebody to make up for Curry's lack of defense.
Yeah. See.
I put KD at the 3.
Okay.
Just gives us a lot of length. Put Tim Duncan at the 4. I remember growing up watching him, and then Shaq at the 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big lineup.
Yeah, it's a big, lengthy lineup. Basically, I put a bunch of guys that can all play defense outside of Curry. So Curry can just move freely because Wade and KD can play make. And the way that Draymond would pass to Curry, I want to see how Tim Duncan would work with Curry because I feel like that would be even better just because of all the fundamentals that Tim Duncan has. Then you just got Shaq, who's always there protecting the rim and always, like, he's just in the paint. No one can stop him. Like, you're going to have 2 guys trying to guard Curry, so does that mean you're going to leave Durant open? You're going to leave Duncan open in the mid-range? You're going to leave – if you leave Wade open, he's probably throwing a lob to Shaq now because he's going straight at the rim if he's open.
Yeah. No.
He's the only really non-perimeter threat other than Shaq. But by the end of his career, I'd say he could kind of consistently knock down the triple when he needed to. He never looked for it, but if he needed to shoot it,
Yeah.
kind of like DeMar DeRozan right now, never going to look for it, but if he
No.
needs to take it, he'll hit it.
Oh yeah. You know, because he knows where he needs to get or where he can get to and where he will get to. And
Yeah.
He just like, why go away from it if it's working?
Yeah, if the mid-range has worked for him forever, even though he was the unfortunate sacrificial lamb for Toronto, but it's worked for him forever, so why not just keep to it?
Yeah.
Still getting 20 a game, just shooting mid-range jumpers over people.
Yeah. You know, with ease. What would be your top 5, Kaela?
Okay, Shaq for sure at my 5. Shaq's my favorite player of all time. It's like he has to be in my lineup. This one might throw people off. James Harden,
At the 1 or the 2?
the 1 in his prime. I think James Harden, like when he was in his prime.
So Houston, James Harden,
Yeah,
before he got fat.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's some fire.
He was good.
That-
He was pretty unguardable.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I just think he had like the fire in him. Like
When he was the dude and it was just like him and CP3, it was just,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
yeah. So I'm gonna do James Harden at my 1. Curry at my 2. I'm gonna do Klay Thompson at my 3. I love him.
Oh wow.
I think that's just a bias because I love him. And
Fair.
then Kevin Durant at my 4. And then Shaq at my 5.
I was a Clay fan till now. I'm not a huge fan of him anymore.
That's probably my current favorite player.
Not the same guy.
Yeah.
I just think he's overrated right now. I thought he was super underrated. I disliked the Warriors ever since I've grown up because they were always taking the Thunder out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Durant went there, it just like so much worse.
Yeah. No.
My favorite player to watch right now is definitely probably SGA.
Oh, Shay.
Yeah, Shea, him and John Moran. Those guys go crazy.
Oh no, for sure. They play very similar.
Yeah.
They have very similar play styles. Yeah. I don't know. But I don't know. That's an interesting 5.
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
that's an interesting
I have
5.
a real interesting one right now.
Here.
You may not comprehend what I'm about to say. Give me a starting lineup of fruit. Hear me out. Picture Kevin Durant as a banana.
Okay.
Who's your starting 5 as fruit?
Like
Take it as you will.
Like I'm just
Like picking almost
Okay,
favorite
here.
fruits.
Here, I'll
Okay.
tell you. I did a pumpkin at my 5.
So that's Shaq.
Yeah, big guy.
yeah.
Kevin Durant banana at my 4.
Okay.
I did a mango and a peach at my 2 and 3. Like
Okay.
thicker, kind of smaller, but not like gonna get beat up. I did a blueberry as my 1.
Is Steph Curry supposed to be the blueberry?
I didn't know. I just thought a blueberry would be a good point guard.
Yeah. Oh wow. Huh.
Might go with the grape at the 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about them like for size,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
thickness, hardness. No one's can't like beat up a pumpkin.
Yeah. 2 would probably be like.
An apple.
Yeah, I was gonna say an apple.
You know, come in multiple
Yeah.
shapes and forms and different.
I'd probably put the banana at 3.
banana 3.
Put the lengthy guy there.
Yeah.
Who's your 4?
4.
That's a tough one. Maybe like a pineapple almost.
Yeah.
Because they're tall, and I'd say they're like lengthy almost because they're not like massively big like the pumpkin.
They got the little
And then a well-rounded, I don't know, 5 for me would be the watermelon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that one going in like right away. Like, okay, watermelon's 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pumpkin's a little. That's a thick boy.
That's a
Yeah.
thick boy. Pumpkins come in all shapes and sizes though.
They do. You can get a
Yeah.
small one. You can get the like undersized Kendrick Perkins type 5, or you
Mm-hmm.
can get the Bobo 5, the tall, lengthy guy,
Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay.
or you can get like a Simbular. You know who that is?
I don't.
He was drafted by the Mavericks in like 2014. He's
Oh,
the
wow.
only he's the only player ever born from India to play in the NBA.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he played like 4 games.
Hey, the league's the league.
Yeah.
4 games is more than 0.
I agree. I mean, and he obviously made a bunch of money just sitting the bench.
That'd be fine by me.
Yeah,
Sit-
it'd be fine sitting on the bench of an NBA team.
yeah, making a good living. Oh yeah, I'd take that for sure.
And all you got to do is practice
I know.
and go play like 2 minutes if you're getting blown out or blowing someone out.
Yeah, like you just get paid. You're getting paid a lot of money to work out.
Yeah, you'd be like, all right, let me go chuck like a few shots up in these last 2 minutes, see if I can get some points.
Yeah.
What team would you want to play for if you could pick any team?
Oh, the Suns, Arizona. Born and recently the freaking like the stadium's been insane. Like the crowd has been crazy. Like the energy is just, I don't know if you've been to Arizona or like the Phoenix area, but like it's really going up a lot now, and like the fans really supporting us. I mean, winning does that. So like as a team wins, this fan base gets better, this and that, blah blah blah. But oh no, I'd love to be in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably go between. I'd either be because like Oklahoma City is my favorite, so like I'd want to experience playing for them.
Uh huh.
But at the same time, I'd also want to experience like Cleveland because that's like close to home for me. It's only an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
It's the only close team to where I'm from, so kind of that would be cool because they're also like they're good now again.
Yeah. 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 Cleveland is solid. They got a young core. And Donovan Mitchell coming in, and I mean he's
He
young.
looks even better without Rudy Gobert. They were talking about that, and
Rudy. No. I don't. Yeah. I'm not a
I
big.
think he's a great defender, but he doesn't bring much else.
No, offensively he is. Like, I don't know. It's not there offensively. Like,
And it shows, like, I feel like, because you look how Donovan Mitchell now has exploded without him. And he has, like, Jared Allen now
yeah.
and Mobley, wherein you see, like, Anthony Edwards almost looks like he took a step back.
I feel like that team is just real drama. Like
yeah.
the T-Wolves, yeah, there's too much emotion there, so they're struggling for sure. No, yeah, I'm not high on Rudy Gobert at all.
I don't think anybody's ever really been high on him other than, like, the first couple years they made the playoffs.
The T-Wolves were. They traded for him.
They broke the trade market when they did that.
Yeah.
The Jazz
Hey, the Jazz
got away with a lot.
The Jazz are doing good.
Yeah. Well, that's because somebody's finally not stunning the growth of Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, Markkanen's hooping.
You ever, like, when he was on Chicago, he was hooping, and Billy Donovan came in, not even close to the playoffs, and like, all right, we're benching you, we're benching Wendell Carter, we're going to the playoffs. Didn't work at all. They were starting like Thad Young and somebody else, which Thad Young's solid role player.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point in Thad Young's career, should not have been a starter.
Yeah.
Wendell Carter needed to start, and so did Laurie. They
Mhm.
needed their growth not to be stunted. And now that they're both actually Wendell Carter's on the Magic, but he's balling on the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Laurie went to the Cavs, kind of revived his career, just like feel like learning and all that.
Yeah.
Solid player. Now he's on the Jazz, and it's just no one can stop him.
No. Like,
Like I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that Colin Sexton explosion again, like
Mhm.
how he had last year before he got hurt, and the year before when he was starting to break out.
oh, he was.
I think he's the mental knee thing is still
He's
in the back of his mind.
He's
But
been killing it lately. Like, he's been hooping.
I've just been waiting for them to finally like start him over like Clarkson or Conley,
Yeah.
because I think
I feel like he's a good player off the bench, though. I mean, I feel like he could start because Clarkson's good coming off the bench too, because he's
Yeah.
just an instant scorer.
that's why I think like he should start over Clarkson, because I think Clarkson's played super well this year, but I just think like you said, I think Clarkson's better off the bench than Sexton would be off the bench.
Yeah. I mean, either or.
Yeah, or you bring them both off and you start Malik Beasley,
Mm.
solid shooter defender.
Yeah. Who knows?
That's why we're not the coach.
Yeah. That's they're there. We're here
Yes.
right now.
Did you play any other sports before basketball?
When I was growing up, I played like everything. So like when my first sport was probably, I think I did soccer first. I played that for a year, and I was like 5 years old, and I just got really bored. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I'm not running around trying to kick a ball. I'm fine. But I played baseball. I wrestled. What else did I do? I played football, and then football and basketball were my longest. Football lasted the longest at everything else. I got baseball. I got hit too much. Like I was up to bat, and then like I got hit in my calf. I got hit in my rib, and I was like, I'm done.
yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore, Mom. Like, get me out of here. And then football, I stopped 8th grade, and then after that, it was just basketball. Yeah. No, and then I did track my senior year. I wish I would have done track more.
Track was a fun time.
Oh, it's super fun.
What did you do in track?
I did the 800. I started out with sprints, but I'm not that fast, and I hated sprints. Like,
Oh, I was a jumper.
oh yeah, no.
Jumping was so fun.
Mm-hmm. I wish I would have done track, because everyone is just, it's like there's no stress. You're just real calm. Everyone's just like,
You're only stressed if like you're supposed to be super good,
yeah,
and that's it.
yeah. So
And even then, you're not that stressed.
yeah, you're just out there running. And like it's all on you. Like there's no team. Like obviously, I love the team aspect of everything.
Yeah, like you could win a meet with your team and all that, but it's more individual than anything.
for sure. And yeah, and like everyone was just real cool. We meet a lot of people. Like the track meets, there's just a ton of teams, and then like it was just real calm.
I feel like at the track meets, like guys that you play like basketball against, like you just see them in a different light
Mm-hmm.
almost. Like you actually can sit there and talk to them and kind of get to know them and hang out with them. Where like other sports like basketball, it's like nobody wants to talk to each other.
Yeah, everyone's real like, I don't know, it was real tight, real tense, and just,
Yeah.
like real like me against you. I'm like, no, like yeah, it is in a
Yeah.
sense, but like just calm down, you know.
Yeah, and then track, it's like you guys are just kind of sitting there like waiting for your event, and you're just messing around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I love like track was fun. I wish I would have done it like from freshman year to senior year. Like that would have been cool. But I only did senior year. But you know, I enjoyed it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hated track. It was god awful. I hated running.
I can see that.
Yeah, I hated running. I wanted to just do high jump. That's what I started as.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, let's make you run. And I was like, oh, man, like, come on. And that's when I like quit after they made me do like 2 running events at like a meet. I was like, this isn't for me.
I remember I was supposed to run this kid and I were supposed to run the 400,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't feel like running it that day. So we're like, let's just not do it.
The 400 is the worst race. Like that one just takes everything out of your
I
body.
thought the 800 was the worst, and
Oh.
I was an 800 runner to begin with. I was that and jumping,
Mm.
because I felt like the 800 you couldn't sprint it, but you couldn't pace yourself at the same time. You like had to find that like middle part,
Yeah.
and that's why I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But so I hadn't run an 800 in probably a couple meets, and my friend and I were like, all right, let's just skip the 400. No one's gonna know. Well, one coach found out, and he forced us into the 800. we both made the mistake of doing good at it that time, so we
Uh-huh.
ran it for the rest of the year instead of the 400. And we basically then I was doing double duty of like going and running with long distance for the 800s and then
Mhm.
coming back and jumping. And he was like our best sprinter.
Uh-huh.
So like he was doing double duty of going to sprinting practice and then they'd send him to long distance
Goodness. Yeah, no, that's no.
because we decided, hey, let's just skip this one for this meet, and
Uh-huh.
it did not work out.
Yeah, no. I'd much rather do 800 than 400 because 400 you're just full out
That's
right.
a sprint.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
Sprint one lap around the track, one sprint.
right when I just and like I remember the first time I did 400 at a meet. I got done and my head was pounding. I thought I was gonna die. I was like, all right, I'm gonna lay on the grass and you guys won't see me anymore. Like I'm just gonna lay here.
That was
Like,
me after starting every meet running the 4x8.
Oh yeah.
I did the 300 hurdles.
Oh no.
Oh
That
no, I
was-
stayed away from
That
hurdles.
was a mess because
Yeah.
like you're basically running a 400. Just make it a 400 at that point,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you're jumping at the same time. And there's so much like run fast, but like watch your steps, but like clear the hurdle. Like it was just so frustrating.
It's a lot of technique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of technique, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of that. I was like, nope, not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I said adios. Can't do this anymore.
No, I did the long jump, the triple jump, and the high jump. So it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the high jump was by far my worst because I would like clear the bar by a good 6 inches, but then I would like not know how to get out of the air,
Ah.
and I would either not land on the mat, like I
Oh.
would over jump the mat.
So you're just falling on the ground.
Yeah, I'm like falling on the track.
Okay.
I did that a bunch of like there were so many meets where like people would be so concerned. I'm like, oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah, you're like, I'm good. I practice this.
Or like if I like messed up and jumped too late,
Mm.
I'd like clear the bar I'm supposed to clear, but then I'd hit the bar
Oh,
that
the
was
bar on the
holding up
side.
that
Oh, you
bar.
hit the stanchion?
Yeah. Like my first ever jump and first ever meet just drilled that bar. Like it was like
I could picture
right into my hip. I'm like, oh. I was like,
could
I definitely
picture
just
you
cleared
like
it.
running straight into the bar, like you're about to go and you're just like and like boom.
Yeah. No, I'd be
Take it
like
out.
in the air just like floating and be like, oh, there's the wrong bar.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
So, but no, I think to me jumping was the most fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Because you're just kind of sitting there like making steps and just skipping kind of the whole time, and then like when it's time to do it, you get 3 sprints to figure it out, and
Yeah.
you just kind of jump and
Hope for the best.
make sure you land in the pit because it hurts when you don't.
God, you were a wild jumper, dude.
Yeah.
Well, it was like the first time they ever moved me back, like because you have like a 24-foot line, a 30-foot line, and 36-foot. It was like my last meet my senior year, and I hadn't made like the district meet yet.
Mm.
And my coach didn't let me practice all week from the 36-foot line, but he's like, you're jumping from the 36 line. And I'd only jumped from the 30 all year.
Mm.
So like the very first jump, I like slipped when I was running, and I barely made it in the pit. And like I hit like my butt like right on the edge.
Oh.
And yeah, it hurt.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound fun.
But then the next one I put a very like respectable district jump in, but like I was definitely still hurting
Yeah.
because you know you're supposed to land on your butt when you jump instead of your feet, so you get more distance.
Mm. No. Yeah, no. Ow.
Yeah. You got anything else, Kaela?
If you could be in any movie,
Ooh,
what movie would you pick?
any movie.
Any movie.
Goodness. That's tough. Hmm. I don't know. There's a lot of good movies. Hold on, give me a second to think. I don't. Do you have a movie on top of your head that you would want to be in?
No, you know what I think would be a cool movie? Space Jam, and I'm not saying that just because you're a basketball coach, like, but how it like goes back and forth from like cartoon to like real. Like,
Mhm.
I think that'd be such a cool movie to be in.
No, I would want to be in Step Brothers.
Oh my
that
gosh.
movie is so great. That's a great movie. Like just 24/7 in like just comedy.
Mhm.
Like that'd be a great movie to be in.
I'm trying to think of one.
I think I would for sure pick an Adam Sandler movie. I just don't know which movie I would pick. I think I'd do like Happy Gilmore. It depends on what age I'm at too in the movie. There's a lot to put into it.
I feel like Grown Ups would be a good one.
Oh yeah.
What other Adam Sandler movies?
Did you guys see the new basketball movie he just produced?
Oh, yeah.
That movie was
Hustle.
great.
Yeah, Hustle. I thought Hustle was good. There was that, and there was the one with the diamonds and Kevin Garnett too.
Gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
So am I.
Gosh, what is the name of that movie?
Something. I thought it was like something gem.
Hidden Gems.
Yeah, Hidden Gems. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
That one's a really good one with Adam Sandler too.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, he's basically like a gem dealer that in like an addicted sports gambler.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Pretty good movie. I haven't been watching a lot of movies recently.
Yeah, you've been watching game film. If you've ever got a hankering for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, why don't you stop on down by Denny's, as we're open 24/7, and not to mention, it's Rawhide's favorite place to eat, Denny's. The Mustangs will be back in action this week. The men and women will open up LSC play with St. Mary's on Thursday and St. Edward's on Saturday. This has been the 12th edition of Rawhide's Mob, presented by Hatch State Line Toyota and Hatch Ford of Silver City. For Jeremy Zepeda, Philip Vigil, Kaela Chavez, I'm Jake Wetzel. Remember, Mustang fans, you can stay up to date with us by following us on
Social media at WNMUMustangs.com. Or you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or TikTok at WNMU Athletics. Remember, Mustang fans, hashtag Rare Breed.